Yeah. Well, I don't remember. It might have been a staff meeting. It might have been. It was some Zoom call.
Fucking Alex was just complaining about people who don't mute their mics. Ah, what
Yeah,
a hypocrite.
one time I've done it. Okay.
Awesome.
It just means we're all human, Alex, alright? We all are prone to mistakes.
Holy shit, Mike, who are you? It's like you have a different personality just for me.
Everyone leaves the mic on when they're
taking
taking
for everybody.
everyone leaves the mic on once when they take a piss once in a while, alright? That's just what happens.
When they're giving a speech to 8,000 people.
I thought I was gonna have to do that today because I had like 3 hours straight of meetings this morning.
Yikes, sorry. Yeah, that was me yesterday.
Well, it's funny because it's like I can walk through my entire apartment and like the only way you would know that I moved is in my bathroom. The acoustics are a lot different, so
Echoey.
like yeah.
Yes. Your lead Haxor gamers.
I'm sorry. Do you hear all my clickety clacketing? Oh no, you don't.
You're
That's
not
right.
clickety clacketing.
You don't know how hard I move my fucking thumbstick, bro. You should watch me play a fighting game, alright? Fucking shakes the room.
Can you hear that?
Yep.
Yep.
Can you hear that?
How about now? How about now? I texted Dan a couple minutes ago. Oh, good. Thank you. I texted Dan a couple minutes ago. He didn't answer me. He said he'd be late, but he didn't say how late.
It's fine. I'm just making a sandwich. A very late dinner.
Eats. What kind of sandwich?
A ham infused.
Anything on it, or just this?
So, something that's kind of fascinating is I've gotten progressively more lazy with my sandwiches since quarantine. First, I was like, alright, I'm going to go all out, alright? I'm going to get roast beef, I'm going to get turkey, I'm going to get ham. It's going to be great. And the sandwiches were fine. I mean, they weren't like knock out of the park. I could have experimented a little bit more with different meats, I guess, but basically decided the roast beef wasn't necessary, so then I went ham and turkey for about a month.
Wasn't necessary.
And then I think the roast beef I had was just not great. And then the fucking next month I just went to ham, and I've just been just ham ever since.
All right.
So.
Question for you. Roast beef, deli sliced chicken, ham, turkey. Rank the four. From best.
I gotta rank them.
Worst to best or best to worst. I don't care. Just explain which one you're picking.
This is tough. I don't think it's obvious.
The best.
Are you gonna say roast beef is number one?
Roast beef. No question.
No, here's the thing. But roast beef is so different. Just saying roast beef isn't enough.
If it's so different, then why are you putting it on the sandwiches with other stuff?
Because, okay, I believe that the best roast beef complements other meats. All right, because if you, it's too strong of a meat to have just by itself on a sandwich. Like, not that dumbed down Arby's shit, by the way. That doesn't count.
I don't know if I've had Arby's in the last 2 decades.
See, my sandwich game has gotten lazy in the fact that we just go out to eat all the time. Yeah, fast food.
That is lazy.
A taco is not a sandwich, Alex. We've been over this.
But it's a
It
hot
is
dog.
when it breaks, okay?
Roast beef, chicken, turkey, ham. Ham's the worst one.
So you make deli sliced turkey or not turkey, chicken sandwiches? I've never done that.
I have it in the fridge right now, and it's great. Chicken and roast beef, or turkey and roast beef, are the perfect combo.
I have never tried chicken and roast beef, but I feel like chicken and turkey is like
No,
I'm having trouble imagining that sandwich.
It's quite good.
All right, well, I guess I'm coming over for lunch tomorrow.
How about corned beef?
What's that?
Wow, that's a dick move. You haven't seen me in like 3 weeks.
It's been amazing. Don't ruin it.
said,
We're on a streak. What was it?
You know, I was just
how
gonna
about
tell you I
corned beef?
missed you, but fuck you. All right.
We might need you
how
to be
do-
louder, just because Mike talks so loud.
Fuck you.
Is that any better?
That's better, actually. Yeah.
I said, how about corned beef? How does that rank?
Oh, jeez. I will say everything that Mike just said about roast beef that I believe to be incorrect, I would instead attribute to corned beef. Corned beef is its own thing that can or cannot be mixed, but it's kind of its own separate category. Roast beef, however, is kind of a straight up regular old deli thing. I mean,
My cat is
heard
now.
your rankings. Why do we have a hole?
Yeah, we're checking on water because I hear the noise.
Yeah. I say we leave the hole.
Roast
It's a
beef,
nice hole.
chicken, turkey, ham.
Well,
assume
I haven't
Mike's
had
starts with
deli.
ham as the
I haven't
best.
had deli. I haven't
set
had
it
deli
aside
on
then.
chicken. I mean, I would do roast beef, ham, turkey.
Okay. That's respectable. Roast beef is the best one. You're right.
I think I have to agree with that.
Ham sandwich.
Turkey is in last place because you got to put pepper on it for it to be complete, and that's bullshit.
Complete. I've had a really good like smoked turkey on its own without being peppery.
If I do
Or,
anything
like a honey
weird,
glazed turkey. Oh no, that's more ham. What else? How else can you buy turkey other than peppered and smoked?
I just mean I pepper my deli turkey.
Sure. Then you can buy it peppered too. It does enhance it. You're
That's
right.
wasting.
You see, that's a waste.
Yeah, waste of money.
That pepper's really costing me in the budget.
I bet you it's $1 more.
the peppered
Did
turkey
you say you
over.
pepper
Yeah.
your own just now?
Right.
How much does
It cost
to
me
buy a
like
shaker of
it probably
pepper?
cost me like a quarter of a penny to fucking
Oh,
pepper my
man.
fucking turkey
That's tough.
versus a whole $1 for a whole. I mean, that's just a ripoff.
To buy it pre-peppered.
Mm-hmm.
A pre-peppered pack of turkey.
Pickled turkeys.
Pickled peppers.
If I seem to do anything weird tonight, it's because I'm gonna blame it on the cat laying on my lap and controller.
Why did I accidentally set off that powder keg? Must have been
Although,
that.
one thing I've noticed is when I'm sitting at my desk, she'll like to climb on my lap and rub against the desk and also my keyboard. And so then she likes to press some buttons.
Would you like it to be louder? I could make
You
it
did
louder.
that on purpose. Did you know that my brother has pretty severe, whatever it's called when you hate the sound of mouth sounds? What is it called? Misophonia. My sister has it pretty bad too. My brother was like fetal position at dinner time bad. Now they turn on music really loud every night. But mouth sounds and chewing sounds and smacking lips and eating cereal with the tinking of the spoon on the bowl and stuff just makes them just crazy. They got it from my mom who had it mild.
What the hell is that?
Misophonia. Yeah, it's a brain disorder. Oh my god. That was the cat.
Yeah.
No, that
yeah.
was Mike swiping it in front.
That was Mike's cat. Are you both dead? Well,
Yeah.
I'll just put out your fire. No problem.
Don't worry about the holes first.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Is there not a color for betrayal?
PvP.
Actually, I did get pink. What the heck?
What's pink?
Oh my god. It's PvP.
Nice.
That's kind of funny.
But I didn't get it. Nah, fuck
You
you.
suicided, you moron.
Yeah, but I hit his keg.
The player that I got PvP'd was myself.
Well, hey, there's a nice, easy way to get pink.
There's
For
PvP and PvE, but there's no PvMe.
Now we, if we don't want to have to deal with,
You like that? That was poetry.
yeah.
So is that disorder with the mouse smacking different than the one where it's like you're sensitive to like sirens and shit?
Yes. Misophonia is specifically about eating food and that kind of thing. Like when I go home for Christmas, I have to be very careful when I'm like coming down for breakfast to make sure that I'm not same room if I'm gonna have breakfast cereal or something.
That's really weird.
I don't have it nearly as bad. Sometimes once in a while when it's into a microphone it'll bother me. I think, oh, this is what my brother suffers.
That's not even close to the same thing because everybody has that problem. Trust me.
Oh,
As someone
it
who
bothers
eats chips
you
into the
too.
microphone a lot.
Huh.
But what goes around comes around. So
I don't do it to you. Your
Well, you
idiot
do.
friends do it to you, so you have to do it to us? I don't follow. Whatever. It actually doesn't bother me too much. It's fun to rag on me though.
so does it give them like a nails in the chalkboard style reaction?
Oh yeah. My brother would like, he'd imagine like fetal position, only sitting up in a chair with one leg also up on the chair and then one hand in his ear, like plugging it, like squinted and stuff. He really suffered at the worst of it. It's gotten better, but still bad.
But it doesn't affect him when he eats?
I don't know about him, but I can bother myself with my those ones, you know. I don't think that he gets it from himself. If he does, I don't know about it. I do know there's a subreddit about it, but it's not a very...
Well, he's a fucking hypocrite.
Why?
If it doesn't bother him when he does it, but it bothers him when other people do it.
Oh, come on.
Rude.
There's gotta be something that gives you chills when other people do it. That doesn't mean you do it to yourself. Right? It's like trying to tickle yourself. You can't... I get it.
What is the worst noise you can think of?
I'm hearing it.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Just keep talking, man. Worst noise just in existence. Probably the sound
bothers you
of
the
a
most?
dog suffering.
Hey,
Really?
you're gonna win.
That is just horrifying to me when a dog is like being tortured by kids in movies or whatever. Ugh. I cannot handle that.
I was gonna say two pieces of styrofoam rubbing up against each other, but I
Ooh,
guess
that's pretty bad too. Do you mean just emotionally or just on a pure acoustic offensiveness?
on a pure like it gives you
Oh yeah,
like
that's different then.
you know what's weird too?
Styrofoam thing's
You are a
Tell me what I am.
so we watched okay, remember when we watched that one movie that you wanted us to watch? I forget what it's called now. The weird one that you wanted us to watch. Yeah, The Lobster.
Okay.
And that one of I didn't know, and I mean I don't care because I'm totally immune to this, but a dog gets shot in the face and it's just on the floor
Yeah.
in that movie, and one of the people was very upset because I did not warn them. They are very sensitive to dog animal violence. Meanwhile, everybody else getting shot and murdered and mutilated didn't bother them at all. I just find that to be so
But in the context of
annoying.
the story, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, Alex, do you care about me spoiling The Lobster?
Probably not.
I mean,
Probably
it wasn't
never-
a dog that they shot.
The person literally said, "Bro, I didn't want to fucking see a dead dog." So I don't think they really cared that it was his brother.
Well, yeah.
But I feel nothing. To me, it's all cinema. Like I don't feel.
I mean, it can be good. Hey. How about you? I was gonna try to dodge. You were too good. The closer I got, the harder it was for me to stay agile. I definitely get those feelings if a dog is killed on screen. Like, oh man. It's hard to watch. But well, it's made painful by the context of the story and the characters. If it's like, oh, this dog is a mythical god, and then, oh, the dog got shot, then that's like...
I wouldn't die. There's really a bad example.
You know what I mean? If the dog isn't like, oh, this is my best friend, and oh god, he was killed by the gang downtown, like if it's
I think you would
actually
care, and I think and anybody that feels that pet
Well, it
deaths are
depends on the
more.
story. Like I did that part of the lobster did not stand out to me.
Isn't John Wick's dog like not known at all by the time it dies? Like it's just there. I haven't seen it either, but everybody talks about like how devastated they are when it got killed, and I was like, doesn't he die at the beginning of the movie? Isn't that what sets everything off? Like, I mean,
That's the same with Up. Just because it happens at the beginning doesn't mean it's not emotional.
Did you guys see that thing where somebody posted about I don't remember where it was at, but there was a little bridge that you could jump underneath and like launch yourself like way up in the air.
What? No.
no, I did not see that.
Don't say Nazi around me. It's triggering. What is this, a bridge that's on the chip?
No, it's on where was it? It was on an island, but I don't like between two land points.
So,
I don't know like where. I don't know if it was on an outpost or if it was. I'm not sure where it was at, but
These barrels just respawn.
possibly.
what part of the brain do you think it is that allows you to discern like whether it's a video game or a movie from reality?
Whatever it is, you numbed it.
I feel like I feel like numb is the incorrect word. I think I just know how to completely separate myself from the fantasy, at least the negative aspects.
Isn't there... What's the word that I'm trying to think of? When you detach
Enigdala?
yourself. No, not part of the brain. The concept of detaching yourself emotionally in general. If you've desensitized yourself. I think it's desensitization as a
Well,
as a
yeah, but let me be clear here. Like like if it's like for the sake of the story or whatever, like if it's a death that's like a part of the story, or it's a character that's struggling, I do feel emotion. It's not like I'm just like, oh wow, I don't feel anything. This is like I feel the what the director wants me to feel.
Empathy?
Yeah, that. But
Missed
I
the shit.
don't know. It's just kind of like I don't know if you remember when we had that conversation with Carl at work like fucking months and months ago where he just could not stand for like violence in video games. He just felt like it was the most like horrible thing, and like he didn't understand how like that doesn't fuck you up.
I think it has more of an effect on your brain than you think it does.
Nope. You know why? Because I would never fucking kill somebody.
No, it's
Boom
not
roasted.
that. It's about being exposed to the imagery over and over and over and over again. If you watch
Okay, let me tell you-
different video
let me-
footages of a car crash and then you witness one out there, it will be less shocking than if you had gone in
No,
even
no, it won't. Because I believe that, like, I mean, even like it's never as real. I mean, maybe if it's 4K video, but like, if it's not that, it's never as real as it is in real life.
I would posit to you that desensitization does not mean you're completely
Bike ride?
detached
Okay, be
100,000%.
careful.
It just means you're less so. Not like unsensitized, just lessened. And it continues to go down. Maybe a diminishing return.
I disagree because that's a hilariously arbitrary like thing to make. That's like correlation causation argument where you're just assuming that would happen.
And
Oh, here we go, straw man argument. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
Go ahead.
if you had gone into it completely blind, which I believe I'm fairly blind as to how their executions go, whereas if you go into the situation having watched a dozen...
Stop putting food into the bait barrel! Wherever you are. Anyway, continue. So you're also I'm assuming your logic is you've seen enough ISIS movies that you would be prepared for the torture you would have to endure and then die.
Not quite, but your experience being a captive would be substantially different. Would you go into it having seen the propaganda versus not? The beheadings and the all that stuff. You don't think that somebody, two average Joes who are pretty much the same person, one of them exposed to a bunch of violence in media, and the other one not at all, would have the exact same. You think they would have the exact same experience going through something traumatic?
First of all, that would be in your hypothetical theory. You would have to assume both of them have the same levels of tolerance for whatever that is.
Emotion. It's hard to
Yeah,
design
like
an experiment.
I'm just saying that like it's a very arbitrary thing to say like, oh well, clearly this must have an effect on you. I'm like, I mean, I don't agree.
So you think if you had chosen a different hobby other than video games, if you were a master woodsmith, what is the word? Woodworking person.
Carpenter.
Yeah, carpenter.
Carpentry.
If you were a master blacksmith, how about that? That you
Are we having
would
race
have
into
the
it?
exact same.
Yeah.
You start to watch Game of Thrones as your first piece of media in 10 years. You would have the exact same reaction to it.
I think I would still enjoy it. It's the question of like,
How shocking is it?
but that's no, but that's not the shock value would have nothing. I mean, I don't feel like that would. I don't know. It's
No? You think shock value
Like-
and effect on the psyche are different?
I think okay. Here's what I will acquiesce to you. I do believe that affects me when it comes to watching other media. It does not affect me in real life. So like, if I've watched enough shows where the main character dies, like it's not gonna be like I'll still be surprised, but I'm not gonna be like, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's gonna be like, wow, that was a really good twist. Like I appreciate what they did there. That was a ballsy move. Right. Is like if you die for the sake of my story, I'm going to be so happy.
Did you redirect that
But-
sentence partway through? Maybe a little.
He realized he was about to call you the main character in his life.
Yeah.
No,
Can have
not the main character, but like the fucking Gandalf, the Grey to my Frodo.
I've been called worse.
But point being, like totally different fields. Like, and I don't feel that like my experience with Game of Thrones is gonna affect how I would react to your death.
That's fair. And the ability to detach oneself from media is different per person, and if you have it high enough, I can see arguments for that. Sure.
I think as we approach the uncanny valley in video games, that'll be that'll begin to have more of an effect than.
I still don't really know what that is.
The closer something looks to human, the more uncomfortable you become with it.
So picture a graph where on the x-axis is how realistic the video game is, and on the y-axis it's how believable it is to you, how affected you are, like thinking that that's a real person. Does that make sense
Okay.
at all?
Yep.
Like detail.
Yes.
The x-axis would be like detail and realism as a measurable thing. Y is the emotional impact. It goes up and up and up. The more believable something is, the more emotional you are, until you get to like 95%, and then there's a sharp downtick where the valley is on the graph. It's called that because it's a dip in the graph. And
It's so close to real, like
it's
real
so
life.
close to
that
real
it's-
that you're weirded out by it because something doesn't feel right. You're like,
because
your
you can
lizard brain
notice
kicks in.
you notice the very tiny, almost imperceptible things that like
Where it's like, this is really real, but something about it really creeps me out. That's the uncanny valley part. Like, this robot has cool facial expressions. Wow, it's so real looking, but something's really freaking me out about it.
like
That
the
would be
cadence of their voice
Yeah.
or something is off just enough that you're like, that's not real, you know.
You can't
So
place it.
yeah,
And then, obviously, at 100% of each one would be that. So the graph dips down, and then it comes back up in a very sharp spot.
See, I wonder if that could ever happen in video games, just because you would always. I mean, unless of course you're like trying to surprise someone or like fucking trap them, but like, you're playing a video game 95% of the time.
That's
so
But I get sucked
You would-
into media really hard. Like, if I'm watching a movie, I kind of forget that I'm in the theater. If it's a good enough, captivating story.
I mean, imagine
yeah, no, I feel the same
game.
way.
Imagine a game that like the whole premise of the game is that you are controlling something in the real world, right?
Ooh.
And you're able to walk around in, I mean, this would be pretty much impossible, but you're able to walk around in your own neighborhood and your own neighbors are there, and you can see your own house and stuff,
And
and
you shoot your neighbor.
you shoot your neighbor, like, or you swing a claymore at their head and take off their head, right?
Sure.
Something like that where it's like,
Oh, it's a video game. I'm just it doesn't bother me. Yeah, totally right. That's
you know,
a different thing,
at,
isn't
at,
it?
at an extremely unlikely,
Yeah.
extremely realistic level,
Especially in
something like
VR.
that would be, yeah,
Interesting.
like,
Well, something too that I've kind of noticed is, have either of you guys seen The Boys yet? You haven't seen it, I don't
No,
think,
it's
right?
on the list, though.
Okay.
I have
Well,
not, no.
Season 2
so
coming soon?
yeah, so that show, and I'll use like the new Doom games that I love so much as an example. They are incredibly realistic and gory, right? And like Peter with The Boys specifically can't get past the first episode because it's very gory. But the way they do gore to me is so. I don't know if it's intention. I don't know if it's actually would be this way or if it's just an excuse. But it's always like. It's not Saw graphic. I don't know if you guys ever seen Saw. Like they don't go for like this looks like a like. It's not fucking watching Saving Private Ryan and actually seeing people's like innards, like going for pure like
gore.
yeah, like well, pure realism with the gore.
Yeah.
Like
Gotcha.
games like Doom or the show The Boys, it's a lot of like explosive body like
Sure.
gore, where it just like
Not
it's
M. Night Shyamalan,
red.
that's the,
It's
director.
red goo.
Who's the guy that we saw the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Quentin Tarantino. It's very Tarantino.
Tarantino. Yeah, kind of like that, where it's just like it's kind of explosive and just like soupy,
Sure.
right? But it's not because you don't like see the actual like organs and like eyeball and shit like that. Like you don't feel that like visceral disgust. I don't. Peter does, but
Was there ever a point in
because
your life where you would have? Or have you always been completely immune to it?
I think I'm completely immune to everything except for things that try to be real. Like like Saw, I just can't. I can't do it because to me that is so real that I just can't handle it. Like if I have to watch someone's fingernails being pulled off in a movie, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I'll walk out of the theater.
For sure.
I just can't. Like the second something becomes too real, I'm out. That's how much of a pussy I am, and that's how I know that like it doesn't bleed over into real life because I am not a hard motherfucker. All right, I will fucking puss out at the lightest
Hey, T for teen.
scene. What? We're talking about cats,
Oh yeah, that's right. I love that movie.
right? Yeah.
Although the part where what's the main lady who was in Cats? Meryl Streep. Is it Meryl Streep?
Is that the main lady that was in Cats?
I think so. When she reached around and started licking herself, it was really uncomfortable.
I have not seen it, and I
It's
don't
either.
plan to.
It's one of those ones where I kind of want to just see it like a bad movie night fun.
Don't do it. I know another friend group that
Did they attempt
they love to do that, and they said it was so bad
Oh,
it
no.
wasn't even like it wasn't good bad. It was just like
Sure.
I literally wasted 2 hours of my life.
There's a nice
Didn't
quesadilla
laugh a
about
single
that.
time.
That doesn't sound fun.
But yeah, like you, Leo, I get very attached to my media. That's why I'm very anti Game of Thrones. I got like if someone asks me today if they should watch Game of Thrones, I tell them no.
Really?
That's how visceral my hatred is of the show because it betrayed me. Like I mean, I guess you could binge it and only waste a couple weeks of your life, so like it wouldn't be as bad. But for me, I wasted years of my life on that show, and I like didn't get
Like,
an even
what-
remotely satisfying ending.
What level of waste? Like, How I Met Your Mother level waste? Or
What does that mean?
did you ever see How I Met Your Mother?
I think that they are.
No, I've only watched
I
random
haven't seen the Game of
episodes.
Thrones thing, but having watched both moments in pop culture on social media, I feel like they were very similar. Where everyone got really excited for the last like season and then really betrayed and let down.
Mhm. So
Including me.
like,
I wasn't
because like
super-
you, Leo, I get incredibly invested in my media, and so when somebody just shits all over it, it's extremely difficult
T for team.
to swallow that. So,
T for teen. That's right.
and I was such a devoted fanboy that like halfway through the final season of Game of Thrones, I still was on board. I still thought,
Maybe
you know, it had some flaws, but like they could all tie it into a good finale, and we'll be fine. And yeah, it didn't happen. And it was just ugh.
You didn't come back. I was wondering what was going on.
The tip is on fire. The tip is on fire.
What's the tip?
There's no holes either, so we're good.
Did you text Dan, by the way?
Like a half hour ago. He did say he'd be late, but he didn't say when.
Exactly. So you guys spam him. Be like, how late? How late? How late?
Why don't you do that? He's your boss.
No, that's exactly why I shouldn't do that. Oh, wow, this thing's broken.
The tip's all charred now. Wow, it was closer to an hour ago when I texted him. I'll text him again. Just the word Dan.
Junker.
There's one of those ghost fleets up in the sky.
Mhm.
Almost dead.
Yeah, so intense.
Double ghost fleet all the way across the sky.
So how do you guys feel about the new everything being under the one radio menu?
On controller, it's kind of a nightmare, but probably better for.
I hate it on PC too.
It's fine. Requests are still under. Oh no, that's right. That's
No, it used to
No.
be. It used to be the one was your
Yeah, right.
items and the other was your quests.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, if they want people to communicate without talking, it makes sense to make it much more accessible.
yeah.
But-
It feels so like.
But I'm surprised on PC you can't just map a button to pull up quests, to just go directly to quests. I bet you they'll add that eventually for you guys.
Could be. Oh, is that him? Guys, my wife left me. She took the kid. Our AC's not working, so she's sleeping at my parents' house.
My wife left me too.
Oh.
She went on a bike ride.
Oh.
I thought she was going to Wisconsin soon. When is that?
Why would she go to Wisconsin?
Not her. Theo's.
Yeah, just from
Person.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that one.
She is
I mean, it's all
going-
the same. Look, I know they care, but it's like all the same space over there. So I don't. Like, there might as well not even be a border, okay? Like, it's fucking the same.
Dakota. She is going a week from this Friday, so 8 days. And then I have
Got it.
the 2 weeks off starting then as well. And I already
Nice.
have 3 town halls and live streams that I have to do over vacation, so that's going well.
Why don't you just tell them I'm on vacation, find someone else?
And who would you suggest, Mike?
Steph.
For a town hall? She's very good at
Yeah.
that stuff, but she's not a video producer. She's a computer fixer. She could probably learn it.
Well, then maybe we should hire a fucking video producer. I don't know.
Freddie might be able to do it, actually. We have a live
Guess
stream
who- We are going to be hiring a poop scooper.
Excuse me?
We're looking at testing sewage water. For
Yeah, what?
they're looking at doing setting up a wastewater test. They're gonna start monitoring our wastewater at Hope. Because they basically they grab sewage samples, they run it through a filter to pull everything out of it, then they stick it in a machine that bashes everything down, and they pull the RNA out.
Why?
Because then they can use the RNA to test for presence of the COVID-19.
What?
Yeah, so they look for the genome or whatever,
Are you
something like
Shitty
that.
serious?
job.
Yeah, so that was one of my meetings yesterday.
How is that not
Crazy.
like ridiculously expensive and not worth
Yeah.
It's not too bad, I guess. Part of it is we're
Can't we just ask for
partnering
cheek
with.
swabs? Jesus.
it?
Well, so
Okay.
the benefit of this is they said like you can actually detect well, and the science behind it is still like very um
Fake.
no, it's very like not confirmed. Like there's very little. Yeah, there's still like a lot that we have to learn about it. But they're saying there's a possible like 4 to 10 day lead time, so that you would detect the presence of the that you can detect the presence of the virus the in the wastewater before 4 to 10 days before.
But that's so not actionable advice. Like,
But
are we measuring each building or something?
yeah, so that would be the plan is to set up like, probably, they're trying to figure that out yet. Like,
Yeah,
what
but I
would
shit in the
be-
student center, so how's that gonna work?
So the idea is, hey, we get testing going soon enough, and we can see, we have baseline testing of, there's this many RNA genomes or whatever in
Someone's
Durfee.
Someone's in the island or something. Did you hear that in game? Someone's talking.
Was that in game or was that one of you guys? Well,
Me.
Mike, I guess.
Mike, did you
Oh.
make a thing that sounded like someone saying the United States or something?
Oh yeah, sorry, that was my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they detect if they detect like a rise in the levels in Durfee, then they might decide to focus some of their
Sure.
testing on Durfee students rather
That's
than
crazy.
yeah. So
Mike's
that was
gonna
kind
shut
of
down the Klutz market from his shits that are all coronavirus.
it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
dude.
Like
No more.
it's a pretty
Klutz
cool idea. Because the idea is, if this is the case, we might actually be able to get to a point where, depending on how things work out, we might be able to get to a point where we can actually just do this rather than testing students and then only test when we deem it necessary based on the wastewater.
Wow.
So it's kind of actually, I don't remember the word that was used, but it might have been serendipitous that what's his name? Ben. Is it Coper?
I don't know, Ben.
I don't know. Somebody. He was going to go on sabbatical this year, but because of the situation, like he was going to be in Paris at I can't remember what it was. It's some like super fancy place.
So fat.
Super fancy lab in Paris, and he was going to be studying viruses and stuff. He's a virologist, so, but because of what's going on, he wasn't able to go, so his sabbatical was basically canceled, and so he's
So this
planning
is his
on,
thing.
yeah, so he's going to kind of handle our COVID stuff.
You could just say handle our.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a shitty situation, but he makes do.
working with Aaron Best and who were the other ones? Mike Picard,
Picard. Yep.
and
Gart.
Jean-Luc.
oh, I can't remember
Oh.
who the third professor
That's
was
really
that was
cool.
on the call. But yeah, so
What's your role in this?
I am on the testing committee. So like
what are you testing?
my assumption for the reason that I was put on it was because I started looking into data of like if we looked at if we were looking at the classes that students were in, if we had all I put together a quick little Tableau report, and so Carl Eugene talked to Carl about what I was working on with that, and Carl wanted to see it, and it was all about it was basically just like if we had face-to-face for all of our classes, if one student got sick, we'd basically, because of the contact in the different classes, we'd end up with the entire student body would be they're within 2 or 3 classes, so student A has classes with 27 people. Who do those 27 people have classes with?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Because if you don't know until you've had it for 2 weeks, you've been exposing everybody in your class.
Right. That means that essentially everyone catches it. So.
And 50%
So-
of people are asymptomatic, so they're.
Well, that's- So that's
so my
the thing. Like,
assumption is they're gonna use me as kind of the data person and being able to pull banner lists of who's in. If we do get into contact tracing, I'm gonna probably be the contact person for. Hey, we discovered so and so tested positive. Can you pull all of the students that are in classes with them, and so we can get a list of who to pass on to.
you should pause the stream real quick. I have a question.